My name is Shireen. I'm a student in University of Bolton and studying Master of Science in Data Analysis and Technology. I'm so glad to be here today with you, and I like to say big welcome to all of you. Thank you very much to come in. Please inform any of your friends that you think this session would be helpful for them. With no wasting time, let's start this session of Series of Talk. Today, we are with Dr. Ali Kashif Bashir with the topic of cybersecurity. He is a reader in Manchester Metropolitan University. And I like to say a big thank you to Dr. Celestine to make this chance for all of us to be here and prepare this session of Series of Talk. And now it's time to hand over to Dr. Celestine Iwendi to have a welcome speech. Dr. Celestine?
Okay, thank you so much for another November to remember. This is the only one we're having for this week. And on behalf of Sam Johnson, the head of school, she's unavoidably absent today due to lots of meeting. And so we want to welcome Dr. Ali Kashif. He has been a long-time friend. He's a senior member of IEEE. He's one of those that has been my very strong partner in terms of research, and good enough, you know, he's also very close by here in Manchester. So I want to call upon him. I don't know if he's still there, because I told him some time. Dr. Ali?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming. So over to you. You know, he was thinking that it's going to be on ground, but I told him, don't worry, February is going to be here again in February with us. Please go on.
Yes.
And we have lots of our students are in classes now, all tune in to this program together. Yep. Thank you.
Just 1 second. I think I shared the wrong screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. I want to say, all of you friends, please mute yourself, and we have a time at the end of the session for question and answer. Please write your question at the chat box. We will back to all of you to answer this question. Now, welcome, Dr. Ali Kashif Bashir, and please start. All of us are here ready for hear you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Celestine, for the invitation. As he mentioned, that I thought we are going to meet in person, but maybe in the future. And my name is Ali Kashif Bashir. I'm reader at Department of Computing and Mathematics, Manchester Metropolitan University. Also, I'm director of Future Networking Lab here and head of Advanced Cybersecurity Testbed. I'm also editor-in-chief of IEEE Technology Policy and Ethics. So today I will be talking about two things. First, I will be talking about cybersecurity, and second, I will be sharing some of our ongoing projects. So this is a brief career highlights. I have received over £3 million external funding as PI and COI from several funding bodies. I'm also COI of two umbrella projects in the region, which are Greater Manchester Cyber Foundry and Greater Manchester Artificial Intelligence Foundry. From these platforms, we are guiding companies, SMEs in the region to incorporate these technologies in order to obtain maximum potential that they can, and we are providing consultancies to them. So these are projects in consortium with the Lancaster University, University of Manchester, Salford University, but we are Manchester Metropolitan University is leading these two projects. I have authored over 250 articles, mostly like 80 plus IEEE transactions. With H-index 41, I'm supervisor supervising 15 plus PhDs, 3 KTP associates, 2 postdocs, and I'm lucky that I'm honorary professor of 5 universities from Canada, University of Gulf from Canada, from one university in China, one in Lebanon, one in India, and one in Pakistan. I have delivered over 40 invited and keynote talks around the globe in many countries. I was featured as IEEE featured author. This is a recognition that IEEE started very recently. So far, I think it has been given to only 30 to 40 authors. I'm one of them. And yeah, so starting with the talk, first, I want to give a big picture that where we stand today with respect to our cyber physical systems. So the big question is that, are we ready for 6G? For example, in case of vehicular communication, we have seen a lot of advancement in the recent past. And a lot of advancement are still going in case of healthcare infrastructure. There are a lot of operations that are being performed remotely these days. In case of other technologies, we have seen a lot of advancement and boom and maturity in these technologies in last, let's say 5 to 10 years. But what is the next picture? What is the future? So in these technologies, we will be incorporating, in 6G, reliability, scalability, security, and latency. And how this will happen? Because if we are, for example, if the current technologies have already gone through a maturity and advancement, so what will be the future? So the future will be, we will be achieving reliability, scalability, security, latency, and other parameters using data driven. So the current approaches that we had was human, based on the human intelligence, what the human think the technology should be, not what the technology think that how it should be. For example, in case of healthcare infrastructure, what we have performed so far is what the human understand, like this should be required, but not the data. So once we have the data sets here and data driven technologies, we will be incorporating. The data will be telling us that how our security should look like. For example, in case of security performance, security metrics, there are so many things if we talk about these security solutions, these small industries or even big industries they have, there are some loopholes there. For example, if I talk about our academia, like let's say, if I'm a tutor at my university and I'm teaching, let's say, networking and security related units, and there is another tutor, he's teaching, let's say, software engineering. So by role definition, the set of resources and access he has is equal to the set of resources and access I have. But from the practical perspective, maybe there are several set of technologies, softwares which he never used. They are related to security or networking. But there are, on the other hand, there are several set of tools and softwares which I have not used that are related to software engineering. So from the role definition perspective, from the company understanding perspective, or the security solution perspective, we are perfectly equal. But from the practical perspective, since I have never used those technologies, so if the access has been taken away from me, it will improve the security, because if I have a least access to least resources, only the resources that are required to complete a role, then it also help in improving the security. So this is one example of like how, if there is a data-driven model at the back end, the data tell the organization that what I have been accessing through in the last, let's say, one year, the tools and technologies that I never access, if they remove the access from me, we are going to reduce the threat landscape. So it will not affect our responsibilities, but on the other hand, it will help in improving the security. So if there are data models that are being developed at the back end, okay, so this will, the data model will tell us. And if I need to access, for example, at a certain point, if I need to access those resources, I can request for that. Similarly goes for these company CEOs, and they have access to, or or these technical managers, they have access to everything, which means that if their accounts are compromised, the whole system, the whole security of the whole organization can be compromised. So if they are data driven, we can have the data can tell us like how the security should look like. Here at Manchester Met, under our theme, we have these research topics. For example, in cybersecurity, we are exploring zero trust security, previously preserving authentication, human factors, data and infrastructure security. And in case of CPS system, we are also working on security of CPS systems, smart infrastructure, intelligent transportation, and in terms of AI-driven solution, we are working on predictive maintenance. That how, for example, in these big companies, if any sensor are going to fail, let's say if the companies are working in a batch process, the whole company shut down. So if there is a predictive maintenance, the system can generate some kind of alert that will help us, fixing the fault before it actually occur. Zero waste strategies and data-driven machine learning algorithms. Our research is mainly funded by Cyber Foundry, AI Foundry, Innovate UK, and few other funding bodies. So if I talk about cybersecurity, the cybersecurity according to National Cybersecurity Center is how individuals and organizations reduce the risk of cyber attack. These risks can be coming from several reasons, like it can be phishing attack, it can be form jacking, it could be vulnerabilities that exist in the cloud, it can be IoT vulnerabilities, malware, ransomware, and so many others. If I particularly talk about the SMEs in 2019, according to 2019 data, around 50% on the average, SMEs were affected. They were breached. Their security was breached. For example, in case of micro firms, 28%, small firms, 40%, medium firms, 60%. If we talk about, we don't have big firms here. Why? Because the big firms, they have the security by design. When they are, for example, they have a lot of money to invest in the security. When they're laying down their infrastructure, they consider security at each layer. So it's not that they cannot be breached, but the number is very small compared to the small and medium firms. Whereas the small and medium firms, they have, because they start with a small budget and they think security is probably a luxury, or maybe security is something they will think of at the later stage. So the decision they made at the very beginning, they halt them. They bring these kind of breaches to them. So in 2019, the overall loss the UK SMEs faced was 860 million pounds, and in 2019, the most of the businesses were not online, and a lot of businesses, they moved to online during COVID. So the loss that we had from these breaches in 2021 or 2022 is much bigger than the number that is being shown here. So what kind of reasons, these SMEs or these cyber physical systems, what kind of challenges they face? For example, one challenge is decentralization, okay? Because decentralization was introduced as, is definitely a way, an advancement in the technology, because in the past we had centralized solutions. And from the computing perspective, from other latency perspective, or many other perspective, decentralization is definitely a plus. But from the security perspective, the current security solutions that we have, from that perspective, decentralization is a challenge, because if there is a centralized, the databases or the system infrastructure is centralized, it's easy to implement security, because when we talk about the centralized, we don't talk about the resource constraint. We talk about something as a computer or a server that has unlimited resources, which means that we can implement hi-fi security on top of that. But it does not mean that decentralization is not a way forward, but it means that we need to come up with a small, fine-grained solution, security solution. that are fit, that are suitable for decentralized approaches as well. Heterogeneity is one. For example, in most of these companies, small companies or medium companies, or even our, like, let's say, I mean, many other applications, we go for, there are a lot of vendors available. For example, if you're going to install an IoT infrastructure, we will go for the sensors that are available. Some of these sensors are expensive, and some of them are not expensive, but from the functionality perspective, they're same. But when we, so as a small organization or as an individual, when I tend to buy something, my priority goes to something that is cheap, that is more cost effective. But because of that, when I inject multiple type of devices in my system, so some of the devices, they have a different kind of security features. Maybe the ones that are expensive, maybe the designer or the manufacturer, they consider the security at each layer. But the other ones, maybe they have a compromised security or a less security, or even if there is no compromised security, still applying same security solutions, same security algorithms on different kind of devices is a challenge. So we need to address this challenge as well. Physical interaction leads to a lot of social engineering kind of attacks. Untrusted environment, open environments where we don't have any defined boundary of the system, that can be another challenge. Strict constraint and privacy is like, so far most of the security solutions that we have there is that we were not putting privacy on as a priority. For example, if I talk about this IOV, Internet of Vehicle infrastructure, I mean, we have done a lot of work on this one from security perspective, from securing the vehicle, from securing the infrastructure. But we didn't talk about a solution that are keeping human in loop. So who is the driver, how he is going to, and how his privacy is going to affect. For example, if you're taking a bus somewhere, so there is a, like, so what is your privacy, how your privacy should look like when you're traveling there? Does the driver should know that where you are getting in and where you need to get off, or some other parameters, or maybe your neighboring, your people sitting next to you, or if you're going to go for a taxi hire? Okay, so all these things, the privacy, or even if you're driving an individual vehicle, so how your privacy should look like. So privacy is another challenge. From the access perspective, how we can possibly secure it, we need to come up, there are some challenges. There are the companies with the diverse security goals. They have a different kind of attacker models. The system complexity, it varies from company to company. Security metrics that they already have on in-house, and holistic view of the system. And in case of defending, we need to, for example, there is always a continuous interaction, attacker and defender, because sometimes we know that we don't know where the attacker is or who the attacker is. And there is sometime attacker has passively hacked the system and he's already in the system. Or somebody, sometime a hacker is just somebody who's just monitoring the situation, or the overall situation. One example, and that usually leads to these kind of phishing attacks. One example I often give to my student is that one of my friend, he had a small company, so they were working on this one bid or one, and they were really passionate about that because that was something very big for them, and they were working for like 5-6 months. So the day when they had to go and defend it, so their CTO and CEO went to this meeting, and the whole company was anxiously waiting for that. And suddenly they receive a call, okay, or an email from this CEO. And because they were in that particular zone, they're in that frame of mind, and the CEO said that we are very close to close this deal, but we need to do some deposits. So can you send this much money to this account? And the finance guy, because he was not, the security, he was not in that frame of mind where he can think of that this could be a phishing attack. So he just suddenly transfer the money, and then they keep waiting for it. And then at the end of the day, when the CEO called and they said, "Did you receive the money?" And he said, "No, you didn't. I didn't ask you for money." And he said, but you did ask for the money. He said, no. And then they went back, and then they realized that somebody was monitoring their phase of the company situation, and then they attack it on a accurate time. So this is an example of a phishing attack that can lead to, because this interaction, so this person, they knows the communication, they knows the company state, and they know in which situation they are. So these attackers, they can also, so phishing is has always been on top 5 list of the listed reasons for these breaches. System distribution and environment trust can be another one. So why these attacks are so successful? For example, it takes around 4 minutes to hack a system, but around 99%, 99 plus days for businesses to recover from these breaches. And the few of the reasons are 30% of users open emails from attackers, and 10% they click on the attachment. 63% of the passwords are weak or by default ones, or they can be stolen. 58% of the users accidentally share their information when they are having an interaction with some clients or some friends or somebody they're meeting. So when we interact with the companies from the Cyber Foundry platform, we feel that the companies have some limitations. They have some kind of misconceptions about their businesses. For example, they think security is too complex, security is too expensive, security is not a business priority. And I mean, security is not complex if we deploy that security in a strategic way. Okay, it's not that we have to inject command, completely secure the whole system in one day. It can be done in phases. And they say the security is too expensive, and on the average these small to medium organization, they spend around £1,300 annually on security, which is not a bad money. Okay, but if they put it in a strategic way, if they put it in a proper way by consulting the security specialist, and this money is good enough to secure their infrastructure, maybe not in a one go, but in a couple of steps. And I mean, as I mentioned, that they think that security is not a business priority because small businesses that deal with customer information. Okay, so they feel like, our businesses does not require a security because we are just, we are selling something, we are doing this business, so maybe the security is not, we cannot be compromised, or maybe we are not of an interest for the hacker or attacker. So they don't put a security on their top priority. So from this Cyber Foundry perspective, we are, I mean, as I mentioned, that we are a consortium of 4 universities. We are creating, our aim is that we are to create a more trusted environment for businesses, help them boost their performance by incorporating security innovations. And this Greater Manchester Cyber Foundry, this interaction, they often lead to a lot of KTP projects. So in realizing this need of these industries and their challenges, so we are installing a security testbed at Manchester Met. And in these testbed, we are planning to incorporate, I mean, we want to gather a lot of malicious traffic. Currently, we have a capacity of 12 terabyte storage, which means that we will be gathering attacker traffic over, let's say, for the span of next few years. At the moment, my 4 PhD students and 3 postdocs are deployed in this one, and we have a couple of other colleagues who are working on this one. And it's in a very beginning phase, but once it is, we will go phase by phase. Once the first phase is ready, we will start inviting other partners. At the moment, we have a British Telecom on board with us, and Spirent. Spirent is a small company, but it provides, it offers a few simulators. The simulators that are available out there, the open source simulators, they have some functionality available, but some of the functionality we wanted wasn't, they don't have that. So this Spirent technology, this Spirent, it has a lot of simulator related to cloud and some other, security tests that we wanted to perform and that are not available in open source, other open source tools. So they will be installing their simulators on our machines. We will be having around at the start around 10 machines and GPUs, a lot of sensors. And idea is that if we have this attacker traffic, to the best of our knowledge, there is no such kind of test bed that exists in the region, which is open for public in these organizations security solution testing. There are some, storages that has a lot of attacker traffic, but they're not open for the research and testing purpose. So if we have this resource or facility ready, our next phase is that we will be inviting a lot of industries to come forward and bring their solutions, or that could be they bring their solution, the security solution which they already have, or maybe they can come up that we want a new solution to be deployed. So this will be an excellent opportunity for a lot of students, a lot of our university students. They will be working on university funded projects. And so in the later stage, we will be also incorporating a lot of artificial intelligence algorithm on top of this data set. So this is in the second phase, I will be talking about some of my ongoing project. Yeah. This is I'm also leading this future networks lab, where our vision is to meet the challenges of society 5.0. And our core areas of research are intelligent transportation, drone communication, edge computing, cybersecurity, digital twin, and AI-based solution in all these applications, or maybe and as an independent research on these machine learning solutions. Our ongoing research projects that we are working on are drone forensics, intelligent secure mobility management, 6G-enabled digital twin ultra performance resource, AI-enabled zero trust security, and privacy-aware edge cloud resource allocation for ITS. Specifically talking about the few projects, one project that we have is a security-aware fog-based home monitoring for the elderly. There are a lot of, this is a safe home. So there are a lot of safe home solutions that are already proposed. For example, they talk about using wearable devices and or cameras. These both technologies have some limitation. For example, in case of wearable, we are proposing this safe home for mainly for the oldies, but this can be extended to the sick people. For example, this Europe are facing overall majority of the European population is old, considering UK and also the other European countries. On this project, we have 26 organizations from 6 countries: UK, Portugal, Spain, Turkey, Czech Republic, and South Korea. So these two technologies that are recent, wearable technologies and camera technologies. In case of the wearable technologies, the problem is that when we are talking about these old people, first of all, they are not comfortable. They are not they do not understand these technologies better. And also, if they're too old or too sick, it is difficult for them to charge the batteries and put them on their bodies. It's completely inconvenient. And when we talk about the camera solutions, the cameras are good, but at the same time they violate privacy. For example, should we put a camera on the in bedrooms? Should we put cameras in shower rooms? Okay, we cannot. So we came up this. We proposed this pressure sensors. Okay, there are floors. Pressure sensors are being injected in the floors, okay, and those pressure sensors, they will be monitoring the human activity. For example, when we are sick or when we are healthy, our walking pattern is different. So if there are some some technology, some solutions that are, I mean, some algorithms, they are monitoring our working pattern. So they know that on the basis of, for example, if he's not working today as a normal, so maybe his health is not okay. So this can be, monitored. So on top of, so we have divided this solution into 2 layers. In cloud layer, which is not resource constrained, which is somewhere far away, and locally, because we have resource constraints, so we are proposing fog layer. In fog layer, we have these small algorithms like, scheduling and small kind of data. There will be data analysis at the both phases, at the cloud layer and also at the fog layer. The analysis that is required within the system, within the safe home, that will be deployed at the fog layer. And also we are proposing a VNF manager. VNF is a virtual network function manager, which is provide the flexibility of moving functions from cloud to fog. For example, if there is a theft in the house, and because we're talking about the fog layer with the resource constraint, so we cannot put all the solution always there. So if there is a functionality change, for example, if there is a theft, if there is a fire in there is another solution that need to be invoked, and that solution need to be interacting with the security professionals or fire staff, not from the cloud, because there is a latency issues. There can be some other challenges, so they should be interacting with them directly from a home. So that functions using VNF manager that can be moved from cloud to fog. And the second project, maybe all of you have seen these vending machines from Broderick. They are everywhere in the Northwest. They have around 7,000 vending machines, and one of the problem they have is that they don't have this. They don't know. They know there are a lot of problems they have, but one of the biggest problem they have is that they don't know which item is shortage at which machine. Okay, so they're the storage guys, their supply chain. When they go there, for example, a few of their machines are in Trafford Center. Let's say one is in the Trafford Center where the food court is. So which means that the guy, he parked the car there at the parking, then he carry a lot of these items. He don't know which item is empty there, which item is not. He carry all these possible items and then goes to machine, and then he realize, oh, all the cokes are finished, but all the snacks are still there. Okay, so and the coke that he's bringing, maybe the quantity he's bringing is not enough, so he need to go back to his van and bring the cokes again. So if we talk about that on the 7,000 machines, it is a huge cost from and they are losing a lot of customer because of that. So we are building this end-to-end system here. We have already taken their data from their machines. We have put them in the cloud. We have provided designed a lot of dashboards for them. Now we are providing a lot of kind of visualization, and our next stage is that to propose predictive restocking algorithm. So this predictive restocking algorithm will tell them that based on previous trends, previous sales, it will tell them that which machine is going to be out of stock, which stock, at which day or which phase, which time of the year. So this project is expected to bring 2.4 million pound revenue to the organization. The third project that I'm providing consultancy on to one Chinese organization is intelligent production hanger system. In case of this this cloth manufacturing industry, they have usually a lot of wastage, which is up to 60%. And this project is expected to bring wastage down to 30%. Okay, here we are have hangers, RFID tags attached to hangers at each phase of these manufacturing. Okay, and based on that, we can monitor the state of each product, each cloth whenever we want. And the ultimate vision of this industry is that go for precision and eco-friendly clothing, and also to go for personalized clothing. For example, in the personalized clothing that now the clothes we have, for example, there are so many people who have money, and they also have the health conditions. Okay, so if for example some clothes that doesn't suit their body, so they are not only concerned about going to the to market, buy the best one and stitch them the way they want and put it on. They are also concerned about what kind of material is being used. Is that material is suitable to their health condition? So if we have this precision clothing, that will be a way forward towards the health industry and also, for example, this fashion industry. The fourth project that is with called predictive maintenance for this packaging automation limited. Packaging automation limited is a packaging company that provide their services to almost all the supermarkets in the UK and also to the Europe. They have this assembly line where the packages are stored, are put on assembly, and they are processed at each stage. So whenever in the past, whenever there any sensor, so this is a kind of a batch process. So whenever there any particular sensor, it get failed during this process, the whole assembly line, the whole factory is shut down, which brings a lot of money loss to the organization. So we are building this end-to-end solution where we have already worked on, we have already collected the data, stored the data, secure the data, provide a lot of visualization to the data. Now we are uh, going to propose, we have still 4 months in the project, so we're going to propose, we're working on the predictive maintenance algorithm. We are taking values from the sensors of those each machine, and for example vibration values, temperature values, a lot of other values, and we will be proposing a solution that will be, for example, if before the machine actually failed, there will be kind of a trigger that can be generated. Okay, that this vibration of the sensor is not normal, or the temperature of the sensor is not normal, or something else is not normal, which means that we can, this is a this will be one of the earliest, or let's say the first proposed solution for the predictive maintenance. This predictive maintenance is a bigger, one of the biggest challenges all the industries are facing, but there is no state of, or there is no mature solution available. So this is the solution that we are going to propose for the, not rest of the project is already completed, but for example, this predictive maintenance part will be, let's say, we will call it as a version 1.0. So we will be extending this project to another 2 years, and we will be digging down to come up with more sophisticated solution that can be adopted. Another one is this AI augmented security demonstrator for IoT enabled critical infrastructures. This is here on the, down. Yeah, here at the bottom you see this is a one building of Manchester Metropolitan University. On top of that we have this testbed representation of the organization of this building, and on top of that we are building this digital twin representation. So in this digital twin representation, we will be doing a lot of simulation to test the solution, to propose the solution and go for the simulation to change some parameters and further go for the solution. So this digital twin is a not a newly coined concept, but still not mature. So this is, we will be using a lot of AI, machine learning algorithms, and also cybersecurity, involving cybersecurity. So this, and working, instead of applying a solution in a physical world, we will be applying a solution in the virtual world, testing it, and once it is proven, once it is well tested, we will be adopting that in the actual real world. So this project is just recently started. And the last project, this is not, this is something which I'm really interested about, but it's not started. One of the organization which is partner of NHS, they reached us recently, a couple of months back, and they wanted to build this virtual clinician for, at the moment, the healthcare, the NHS, one of the biggest burden on NHS is these front desk calls. For example, there are so many calls these GPs receive, and most of these calls are by over anxious or over concerned patients or old patient who are lonely, and if anything goes wrong, they just pick the phone and call the GP. So if that burden can be cut down, that can be reduced, it can revolve NHS to a certain extent. So the objective is that to build an interactive system, and that system knows each patient, and instead of calling to the GP directly, the system I will be interacting with the system. The system knows my details. There will be textual data. For example, the system knows all my health parameters, all my physical record, and then there could be there will be voice recognition. Okay, if the system knows, if the system interact with me, if the system knows what is my normal voice and what is not my normal voice. For example, if I'm sick someday, my voice will, the pitch tone will not be normal. The system understand I'm not normal. And definitely if there are, it's not, this is just a simplest classification, normal or not normal, but definitely if there is a not voice, okay, but the system can further look into the data, whether it's over concern or loneliness or something else. And now the question is that, which we are still trying to figure out, is that, I mean, taking the facial recognition data, can we take the facial recognition data? There is a privacy in question there, so maybe we might not able to. So this will be, if it is developed, so this will be one of the world first solution, first interactive virtual clinician. So it is like building a human profile at the back end. The closest system that we can think of human profiling is social networking websites. For example, Facebook. These Facebook, they knows our priorities, or for example, what we see on Facebook, whom we interact with. Okay, if we see a picture, for how long we have seen a picture, and if we have seen a video, for how long we have seen a video. So all these data is being stored at the backend in terms of a human profile. My profile is there, and then my interests are there, that okay, there is a kind of a graph. Okay, this person is 30% interested in this one, he's 30% interested in this one, he's in this one today, he watched this one today, he watched this one. So their advertisement, for example, it can be Facebook or YouTube or anything else, the advertisement will be based on my profiling, what my profiling will suggest. There it's very easy, because you know, it's a screen time that can be easily monitored. And here the human, the question, I mean, the healthcare is much more sensitive application than this, you know, just a social networking websites. So there are a lot of challenges involved here, and we are still discussing how to move forward. We are taking some sociologists on board. Like first of most important is that every human health parameters are different. My blood pressure is different from your, my normal blood pressure is different from a normal blood pressure of somebody else. My genes are different. My hereditary is different. So so the first thing is that we are thinking to move. The base thing is that first to come up with some classification model on which we can classify humans, and then probably we start working on the rest of the other data sets. And that is end of my presentation. Thank you very much. If you have any question, please do ask.
Thank you, Dr. Kashif Bashir. It was a great speech. Thank you. I really learned a lot. And I want to invite my co-host, Nauman. I think he's here. And for the part of Q&A, please write your question in the chat box, and yeah, you can turn on your microphone if you want to ask your question. Nauman, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
How are you, Nauman? Hand over to you.
It's been absolute privilege, Dr. Ali, to have you with us. It was very diverse and quite insightful information from different projects we are doing right now. I'm just going to take this opportunity and ask my questions to you first, till the other guys raise their hand. So in the first part of the presentation, you said there are challenges for decentralization.
Numan, sorry,
Yes,
your voice is not very clear. I don't know if it's only me or maybe.
Can you increase your microphone?
hello, is it better?
Yeah, it is better.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm just going to ask my questions first, having this opportunity. You said about decentralization and privacy and security issues in cybersecurity. What are your thoughts on using blockchain and adopt, because it's proven its worth in security, privacy, transparency, and decentralization? What are your thoughts in
Yeah,
adopting that?
blockchain can be applied in, some application, but may not be applied in other application. Okay. So, but definitely there are few technologies that we can, think of, like it can be blockchain, it can be federated learning. Okay, federated learning for the security. Okay, yeah, it can be edge computing used for the security. So there are a lot of ways to move forward. We cannot standardize, we cannot say that okay, this is the only way forward. Okay. It depends from project to project, company to company, application to application, and also the device capabilities.
Right. Just another question for me, with the project you're doing, predictive restocking. What sort of algorithms you're currently looking for? Is it more like a replenishment strategies, or is it like forecasting the demand of vending machines?
No, we are not. Yeah, it is forecasting the demand. It is forecasting the demand of the vending machines, because currently the solution they have, they don't know. I mean, at the back end, once something is vended, some product is vended, they only know the price. For example, if you are going to buy 3-4 items from the machine, like let's say one Coke, one snacks, or one something else, they don't know which item is gone. They just know that okay, these 3 items are gone. Okay, and they have just this. Okay, so this is a because at the intermediary level, their telematic device is owned by some other company, and that is bring a lot of other challenges. So that is one of the extension they are looking for, that they will go for their own telematic device, which means that they can own the whole infrastructure. But at the moment, the biggest challenge is they have is that this that this supply chain, that how to supply all these things. Okay, so if they know what product, if we can forecast, okay, based on previous data, based on last year, based on considering a lot of things, the data from last year, the data from this time of the year, the current trends going on. So if we can apply these machine learning algorithms, there will be some kind of estimation. We don't know how accurate it will be, but there will be definitely a way forward. There will be a lot of sometimes they go to machines. Okay, they go to machine, they have any machine they go to, they have all these possible products they have. Okay, and when they say okay, this product is not needed, okay, maybe there is only very small amount. So the next phase of the project that we are planning is that we are also considering this optimized routing, like how this is an optimal. In addition to this one, that for example, this supply chain is a very big industry, and this supply chain consumes a lot of time and money. So in addition to this one, a future extension that we are thinking of is optimized routing, that how all these vehicles, how many vehicles are available, how many staff are available, and based on how many demand is there, based on that, or which year of what is the weather out there, times they're traveling, we can come up with the optimized routing, that how they will be delivering, considering all these challenges, how they will be delivering these products to these destination machines in a minimum amount of time.
Thank you so much.
If you're not speaking, can somebody turn on mic on mute, because I can hear some background noise. Yeah, thank you very much. Any other question?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have just a very small question. Yeah, okay. Cybersecurity doesn't come cheap. And I think there are a lot of things involved in terms of cost, infrastructure, and some other things. So based on your experience, what do you think is the minimum or the least thing SME or small businesses can do or have in place to mitigate cybersecurity? I know this comes with a lot of cost, but what do you advise small companies to do?
So if I rephrase your question, it's like how we can have the security in-house. Okay, what will be the first step, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. There are a lot of ways forward. I mean, if you look into the this incident response managers or these security policies, okay, there are several policies available there, network policies. We can look into. There are many solutions available. We can either hire somebody, okay, and they will come and they will suggest us. It's not, I mean, I can't really say that this is the this is the only solution, this is the best solution. It varies from organization need to need, what kind of organization it is, what their most important assets are, which things to protect at the highest priority. Okay, for example, at the banking organization, maybe the this money and the information of the clients is probably the top priority. And maybe at other another organization, let's say services organization, okay, something else, okay, the infrastructure is most important thing. So it varies, I mean, but this can be achieved in a stepwise approach. There are many solutions. The first thing is that we need to list down what are the most important things in the priority order. What are the things that we need to secure, okay? And then we can look into the solutions. If we go for in a stepwise approach, then I don't think it will be too costly. It is costly, but I mean, if we adopt strategic ways to have the security in house, then we can reduce the cost.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Are there another person who wants to ask a question? Just for myself, I know a lot of participants here are studying cybersecurity in Bolton University. I want to know if they want to enter the market, what the best approach for them? What do you recommend them to start to learn?
Yeah, I mean, they need to make a plan, okay? I always tell my students to make a plan for 3 to 4 years, okay? And they visualize themselves who they want to be in the future, okay? And see and connect with those people. Now, most of these professionals, they are on LinkedIn, okay? So the one thing is that just putting, there are two aspects. One is your skill set, okay? And the one is that how you present yourself. So skill set, there are a lot of experts, Dr. Celestine, Dr. Mansoor, and many more you have that they can guide you what kind of skill set they needed. And one thing which I will emphasize is, which I have seen, most of UK students, that they stay away from programming. I will say no, there is no way out. If you want to be an expert in the technology field, in the computer science field, you have to get the programming skill at some stage. If not today, you will struggle in the future. At least I don't want you to be master at something, but you have to be comfortable with something, like at least Python. Okay. And once you have whatever, I mean, once you visualize, if you, for example, if you want to be something, like, let's say if you want to be if you want to be security analyst, or if you want to be hired by the council or by the government as a forensic analyst, okay, so you just list down a couple of options that you want to be and start working on that. For example, lock the first option with the highest priority, highest probability, or highest based on your interest. These options should be based on your interest, your expertise, and market opportunities, and start working on that. If that is what you want to be, that is something that is coming from inside, you will realize in 6 months. If not, okay, if not, then there will be second option, okay, and most probably your first or second option will be something that is right for you, okay. But the worst thing that you can have is that you have the ambiguity or complexity that what you want to be in the future, and you graduate with this complexity, and you have a degree in your hand, and you don't know which area you need to go to move further. Okay, now because the world is working not on the is working on specialization. So if you know what you want to be, you will be showing something in addition to your degree and your grades. Maybe you will be part of some body. Maybe you have done some kind of internship in that area. Maybe you have taken some tutorials in that area. And these, from the employer perspective, employers are not only looking into your grade, they are also saying that, for example, when there is a job, anybody can come up and say, I really want this job. This is my dream. And it is very easy to distinguish whose dream it actually is. For example, if somebody dream is becoming a musician, they will not be waiting for some band to give them opportunity. Maybe they will be singing in bathrooms. Maybe they will be singing in their free time before going to bed. Okay, and it can be easily seen from their profile that, okay, this is this guy, or he has really potential to move forward in this field, and that will distinguish him from rest of the students. Yeah.
Great, thank you very much. I think another person, Chima, could you please turn on your microphone?
Hi, Ali Bashir. Thank you for your presentation. So I couldn't type my question because it's a bit long. So what I'm asking is, well, some of us have experience programming, but
Yes.
the challenge in my own case is I'm actually a web programmer, but from everything I've seen ever since I came to the UK, the exposures I've seen, it appears that Internet of Things, it's quite enticing. There's a lot you could achieve because it has to do with hardware. Once you're able to program hardwares, you can do a lot of stuff. Now, coming from a web programming angle, there's no exposure to hardware whatsoever. So my creativity, innovations are quite limited. But with Internet of Things, it can be very wide if once I can program hardwares. So my question is, do you think it's worth it to just stick to where I am and be proficient and better? Or do you think I could switch to hardware aspect of things due to the opportunities that comes with Internet of Things? Over.
Chima, your question is, let me rephrase. You said that you are good at programming. You have been doing programming, and now you're working on Internet of Things and programming hardware, right? Yeah. So you want?
No, I'm a web programmer, but I'm beginning to have interest in Internet of Things, but it requires hardware programming, which I have no background on.
Mm-hmm. So what kind of hardware programming you are doing, if you don't mind sharing?
Okay, I think you didn't get it. I said I don't do hardware programming.
Okay,
I'm a web programmer, but yeah.
So actually, you are breaking up in the middle. Maybe probably the connection is not that stable. So you are saying that you are a web programmer, but you want to switch to the IoT programming.
Yes. So my question is, do you think staying as a web programmer is still okay to remain, because there's a lot of opportunities I see in Internet of Things that I don't see in web programming?
You know,
do you think I should stick to where I am and be better, or do you think I could explore?
I mean, let me answer in a way that the programming is a tool. Okay, programming is like, learning how to drive a car. Okay, it's not that I know the roads are matters. If you go to new road, you have to be familiar with if you go to a new city, you have to be familiar with the new set of rules or dimensions. But if you know the logic or the background of the programming, I think it is kind of a diversifying. It is adding more skills to your profile. Okay, so it's not that you are just looking into one thing and not you saying that, okay, my other aspect is completely ignored. You can bring your web programming as an addition, I mean, as an additional expertise, because in your career you will be switching many roles. It's not that you will be getting a job in IoT programming and you will end up doing the IoT programming. I will always say this, so the good thing is that you already are good with programming, so you should be thinking of adding more skill set, adding more diverse angles to your programming. So I will take it as an I mean, if I am an employer, if two people are applying, one is very good at web programming and the other one is good at web programming and had work on the hardware programming as well, I will definitely go with the second one, because my company, I will be saying that this person, he's only good at this thing, this person is good at this thing and can be applied here as well. So I will be definitely prioritizing you on somebody else who has worked only on the web programming. So I don't see any problem. I see it as an additional skill set.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your answer. Yeah, I would like to invite Dr. Mansour Ehsan now and have a speak. Dr. Ehsan, are you here?
Yes, Shirin, yeah, you can see him on the screen. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, thank you. Please.
It was a wonderful talk. Let me first of all welcome Dr. Ali Kashif on this platform. It's a very good friend of mine. I'm very excited to see him on the screen here. Normally, we get to talk a lot on the phone and, you know, email chats and things like that. So it was a wonderful talk, having a deep understanding of the cybersecurity domain. At the same time, it was easy enough for all our students who are actually entering into this field. I know it's a very emerging field, and we've got students always keen to learn about cybersecurity, even those with having no background at all, still quite keen in terms of, they want to know about cybersecurity. So it was a very good presentation, a very good insight into what he talked about. And as I said, at the same time, quite a deep understanding of, what could be achieved in terms of cybersecurity. Some of the projects that he's working on, I find them really, really kind of motivating for students, because these are the type of projects that they will be working on. He brought, he kind of broke it down into chunks, and making sure that, people understand it. And I would advise all my students, who's listening to this talk, to kind of go through this presentation again, something that you've not understood, go through it again and watch it, because there's a lot of things that, he's been talking about. Maybe we didn't understand it at the time, but when you look into it, deeper into it, and especially the talk on, how to get into the industry is quite challenging for students as well. So as he said, he mentioned, everybody needs a kind of skill set, but having a basics of cybersecurity is important as well. At the same time, having an experience in it, and also, getting all their skill sets, getting yourself upgraded and getting yourself matured in the field of cybersecurity. So I really, really appreciate the talk. It was wonderful. And we really thank you for your time as well, Mr. Ali Kashif. Yeah, and at this moment, I would like to present the award to Mr. Ali Kashif as well for that brilliant talk that he did, today. Can I just ask Celestine to present that trophy, please? Because I've got it on my screen, but I can't share it here.
Dr. Ali should remove the screen share. Then we can.
Okay. Remove stop share. Yeah, please.
Okay. No, you can. Are you done?
I'm kind of looking into it. Could you do it, Celestine? Because
Okay.
I'm having issues with this.
Okay. Okay.
So can we present the trophy to Dr. Ali Kashif on his brilliant talk? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming. And,
thank you. Thank you.
We really appreciate you on behalf of Sam Johnson, who is unavoidably absent, for coming to November to Remember series of talks. We're expecting you, hopefully, like you're part of the conference in February. So thank you very much. We express our gratitude for gracing this occasion. And I know the students, both the ones online and the ones in the lecture room, they're all excited about this, and then we'll follow up again. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for invitation.
Thank you.
Yeah, lovely seeing you, Dr. Mansoor.
Thank you. Over to Shireen.
Yeah.
Thank you
later,
very much.
guys. Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Dr. Kashif.
Thank you, everyone.
It was a very nice event. Have a great day, guys,
You too.
and bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.